What is the rationale behind the theological implications of the correlation between Surah 17 verse 1 and verse 7 of the Quran, which indicates that Judaism as a sacrificial religion has been abolished? Surah 17 of the Quran, known as Al-Isra, the night journey, contains verses that reference the Israelites and events associated with them. Let's explore the verses you mentioned. 1. Surah 17 verse 1. Exalted is he who took his servant by night from Masjid Al Haram to Masjid Al Aqsa, whose surroundings we have blessed to show him of our signs. Indeed, he is the hearing, the seeing. This verse refers to the Isra, or the night journey, where Muslims believe that the Prophet Muhammad was taken from Mecca to Jerusalem and then ascended to the heavens, the Miraj. Masjid Al Aqsa is identified with the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. 2. Surah 17 verse 7. If you do good for yourselves, and if you do evil, you do it to yourselves. Then when the final promise came, we sent your enemies to sadden your faces and to enter the temple in Jerusalem, as they entered it the first time, and to destroy what they had taken over with total destruction. This verse refers to the punishment meted out to the Israelites due to their disobedience and recalls the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. The argument you're referencing seems to derive from the juxtaposition of these verses in the same chapter. By connecting the night journey of Prophet Muhammad to Masjid Al Aqsa, associated with the ancient Jewish temples, with the subsequent verse about the temple's destruction, one might argue that it signifies a transfer of religious legitimacy from the Israelites to the followers of Muhammad. The theological implication drawn from this, as posited in your question, is that the Quran might be suggesting that the original sacrificial religion of Judaism, centered around the temple, has been superseded or abolished by Islam. The Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, which commemorates Muhammad's night journey, symbolizes the continued connection between Abrahamic faiths. Islam is often seen as the final message that surpasses Judaism and Christianity.
Some scholars believe the night journey of the Prophet Muhammad to heaven is theologically related to Daniel 7 verse 13. How is this argument explained? The argument connecting the night journey of the Prophet Muhammad to heaven with Daniel 7 verse 13 is based on theological interpretations that draw parallels between the two events. Here's an explanation of this argument. 1. The night journey of Prophet Muhammad, Al-Isra wal Miraj. According to Islamic tradition, the night journey, Al-Isra, and ascension, Al-Miraj, is a miraculous event in which the Prophet Muhammad was transported from Mecca to Jerusalem and then ascended through the heavens, meeting various prophets and eventually coming into the presence of Allah. 2. Daniel 7 verse 13 in the Bible. In the book of Daniel in the Old Testament of the Bible, specifically in Daniel 7 verse 13, there is a prophecy that says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven there came one like a son of man, and he came to the Ancient of Days, that is God, and was presented before him. This verse is often interpreted as a reference to a messianic figure. The argument connecting these two events revolves around the idea that both the night journey of Prophet Muhammad and the vision of one like a son of man in Daniel 7 verse 13 involve a figure coming into the presence of God. Some scholars, particularly in comparative religion and interfaith dialogue, suggest that there are thematic similarities between these events. Divine revelation. In both cases, there is a profound encounter with the divine. Prophet Muhammad ascended to the highest levels of heaven, and in Daniel 7 verse 13, the figure of one like a son of man is presented before the Ancient of Days, who is a divine entity. Prophetic roles. The figure in Daniel 7 verse 13 is often associated with a messianic or prophetic role. Similarly, Prophet Muhammad is considered the final prophet in Islam, and his night journey is seen as a confirmation of his messianic or prophetic role. It's important to note that this argument is primarily a matter of theological interpretation and interfaith dialogue. Different scholars and religious traditions may have varying perspectives on the significance and connections between these events.